What's up, everyone, and happy Friday Eve. We are officially 1 week away from the 2022 NFL draft. And so the NFL coverage continues, the NFL draft coverage continues here at BGN. You guys know that this season is very, very special to us. And so I felt what better way to get into this week than to bring on not one, but two of my sisters in sports. I think that, this is much needed because this is a male dominant field, and it's not very often that I get to bring on my sisters and we get to talk, birds. So I'm very, very honored to have two of these lovely ladies. First and foremost, I have Breezy. She has a host. She's the host for this podcast called Sports and Stilettos. So you guys can check her out. And then also I brought on Symone, who also has a YouTube channel and it's called Symone with the Sport. So you guys can look into her at Symone Stanley. So check both of them out. But ladies, how's it going? How are both of you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good. I'm doing great. I'm anxious. I can't wait for this draft to start.
Literally, like, I don't know where time went. We're 7 days away. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to get into first, like, the biggest storyline from Wednesday. I know both of you guys heard what's going on with Deebo Samuel, requesting this trade from the 49ers. So, one, would you want to see him come to Philly, and like what's the likelihood of that actually happening, do you think?
I would love to see him come to Philly, especially in this draft. I see a lot of people, a lot of Eagles fans saying they want to get a wide receiver in the first round, which I do not necessarily agree with, just because it's not like a specific wide receiver in this draft that's supposed to be like an automatic game changer. So I don't necessarily see the point of using a first round pick on a wide receiver that could easily be a second round talent, especially in such a defensive heavy draft. But I do see the need to upgrade our wide receiver room. And if we're going to use a first round pick on a wide receiver in the draft, it just seems much more prudent for me to use that pick on Deebo Samuel, who's young and already proven. So I would love to have Deebo Samuel on this team. Now, the likelihood, I don't know, but I would love it. And I would definitely use one of my first round picks to get him.
So for me, I'm a little biased, or I don't want to say biased. I'm a little torn on this because Deebo Samuel as a talent is absolutely incredible. You get literally two positions for the price of one, and he is amazing at both of them. But if you bring him into Philadelphia with the offense that we have now, I feel like he would take away a little bit from everyone. He would take away, running from, Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. And then he could also take away catches from, even Dallas Goedert as a tight end. And I don't know if I like that too much.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, like, right now about him is the fact that he is such a versatile player,
Yes.
So, and also thinking financially too, like that's one of the things that I was considering. I hadn't thought about, like, maybe taking away the production from other players because he can play running back and he can also play wide receiver, but financially too, like, we know that the defensive side of the ball is like where the need is. So
Right.
if we were to, trade for him, does that take away from the other holes that need to be fixed?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't
It
think
definitely
so,
does.
because if you get somebody like Deebo Samuel, first of all, money has to get paid anyway. Like, you got to pay money to somebody on the team. Right now, we have a slew. Like, Miles hasn't gotten paid yet. Dallas Goedert is the only one that has gotten paid. We're obviously not paying Jalen Reagor, Quez not getting paid. Devonta Smith is still on his rookie deal. So Jalen Hurts as well. So if we're going to cash out on somebody, I feel like it needs to be somebody like Deebo Samuel, who's already proven that he's worth the money. Because when contract time comes up for these other guys, we're not even going to know if there's nobody on this team we even want to give the max to on offense right now, except for Devonta Smith, just judging off of his rookie campaign. But that's in 3 years. So if it was Deebo is just so automatic, like he just automatically he carried the Niners. Like,
yeah, he really
he
did.
carried the Niners single-handedly. So if he comes in and he takes Dallas Goedert off the table, if he comes in and takes anybody off the table, if it's resulting in wins, that's what a star receiver does. He draws all the attention. So if Devonta Smith becomes the number 2, then battle it out. That just makes Devonta Smith even more better, because that's going to make Devonta Smith want to work harder. Spots can't be guaranteed. You bring somebody like Deebo in, and then it elevates everybody else to have to step their stuff up if they want to stay on this team.
Okay. Bree, did you want to have something to say, or I know you were saying something?
With him being so versatile, do you guys think that it might throw off the play calling and the game plan for Nick Sirianni? Just because he may feel like he has to be, a little more creative because, he's such a versatile talent if he comes here.
I think he would fit pretty well compared to like all the other teams. The 49ers offensive scheme is similar to the Eagles offensive scheme, like both very run heavy. And we know that he does that well. So I don't think that it would cause like any drastic shift, because they already do this well. So if anything, that should be more of an easy adjustment for him to, fit in, because this is what they do well, But
Yeah.
we have heard things about him wanting a little bit different when it comes to how the 49ers were using him. We have heard a little bit about how he wants to be used differently. So I don't know all the details regarding that, but I wouldn't think it would be too difficult, because they're very similar to how the Eagles are.
Yeah, I agree. And two, also with the Colts, like Nick Sirianni with the Colts, he had a lot of different like positionless players as well that he like as an offensive coordinator that he didn't have with the Eagles. And he said when he got to the Eagles, he wanted to, fix the passing game and whatever. So I think he does want to get more creative, just because, that's what kind of offense he's coming from. But I don't think we had the players where he could be creative. But now if you bring in somebody like Deebo, the options are limitless.
Yeah, facts. And okay, I want to shift and talk about Jalen Hurts. We gotta we gotta do it. What were both of your thoughts based off of his second year? Were you, pleased? Do you feel like the expectations are extremely high? Like, what does that mean for him going into this third season? Bree, did you want to start? Because
well, I really didn't have extremely high expectations for Jalen Hurts, just because of the limited playing time that he had in his first season. But I definitely thought the potential was there. I didn't think that there would be any time that he wouldn't rise to the occasion. I mean, for me, it goes back to the coaching staff that he had around him. Everyone was new last year. So everyone was trying to build the chemistry, get acclimated with each other, and really try to find that middle ground. And we saw it in certain games where everything just clicked. It worked. And then you saw games where everything pretty much fell apart. So going into his second year with this coaching staff, I think he'll be much better than what we saw last year, just because the continuity is there now.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I didn't really have any expectations for him, just because that first season was like a random get thrown into the fire type of season. And then we had a complete overhaul in like the front office and the coaching staff. So I didn't really have any like expectations like he's got to come in and look like this. Given this quarterback draft class, he definitely deserves another year. Now, if this was a draft class where we had like a Bryce Young coming out, a Joey Burrow, a Trevor Lawrence, yeah, I'll be all for drafting Jalen Hurts replacement. But we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place where like, this is what we got. This is what the market look like. It's nobody better than Jalen Hurts out there that, won't cost $230 million guaranteed and come with 50,000 court cases. So we're stuck with Jalen Hurts for another season. So I think he was fine enough to like get another year given our circumstances. But I do see where, like, you know, for some people his expectations could have fell short, but I don't see why, because I don't know why y'all be expecting so much from this guy who got no time to develop.
Right.
And that was
I
so
agree.
fascinating. Literally every week, that was like where my frustration lied. It was kind of like majority of these quarterbacks in the league are not like overnight sensations, like
Right.
we didn't even give him time to develop. So that's where I was frustrated. Like, you guys need to chill out, give this guy time. And it was only technically like his first real season. But it concerns me because I feel that going into his third season, a lot of people have the mindset that it's like a make or break season for him. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree 100%,
Okay.
because I feel like that's the narrative that the Eagles are putting out there on him. It's not his fault that he, came into a situation where things were shifting and all of that stuff with Carson Wentz, and then he was kind of like thrown into the fire in a way last year with this new head coach, new defensive coordinator, like all this stuff is new. And then coming into his third year, it's like, well, because there's nobody better than you quarterback wise in the draft, this is your prove it deal. Like, you either prove that you are worth it, or we're drafting your replacement next year. And I feel like he will rise to the occasion. That's just who he is. It's how he's pretty much always been. But I don't like that that's the narrative that the Eagles are putting out there for him.
And I think we all know that when it comes to Howie Roseman, like regardless of what he's saying, you gotta pay attention to like what he's doing,
Right.
because they're doing all this talk. There's off season about how Jalen Hurts is the guy, but would you be surprised if, knowing the QB factory, reputation, if they drafted a quarterback this year, would you be surprised?
Sadly, no, I would not be surprised, because first of all, I don't know about y'all, but I can never predict what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I feel like last draft was pretty like, well, I didn't know we were gonna get Devonta Smith, but I felt like I knew we was gonna get one of those wide receivers, because it was like a wide receiver draft and we needed a wide receiver. This year, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, I want us to go all defense in the first round, because this is the kind of draft where you can get your defensive talent of the future. But I see so many wide receiver visits. I see so many quarterback visits. Us taking Kenny Pickett out to dinner. We went to that game, the Kenny Pickett Sam Howell game during the season. We sent Howie Roseman was in the building. Yep. That game. So it's a lot of stuff just signaling that we might take a quarterback. And if we do, would I be mad? Yes. Will I be surprised? No. But like I said, the make or break year for Jalen Hurts, it's got to be a make or break year for Jalen Hurts, because the way the NFL just moves so quick now, the way the NFL moves like the NBA now, where it just takes one really good offseason to make you a contender. We can't just be waiting around another season. Now, I'll give the brother this season, and I'm rooting for him. But we got to move on. We got a lot of young talent. We got an offensive line that's not getting any younger, that's right at its peak. Hopefully in this draft, we get some game-changing defensive players. Next season, if we're just a quarterback away from like being a legit contender, and if Jalen Hurts hasn't moved that needle, we got 2 first-round picks to either make a trade for whatever disgruntled quarterback is going to be next offseason, because every offseason some quarterbacks are getting traded now. Whether it's to make a trade or get Bryce Young. Jalen Hurts already know what time it is.
Bree, would you be surprised?
It depends on what round.
Okay.
If they grab a quarterback in like the 5th or the 6th round, like it's not going to faze me. I really don't care, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to move him before camp starts anyway. So whatever. If they draft a quarterback in the 1st or the 2nd round, I will be very, very, very surprised.
Yeah,
because I don't think there's a quarterback right now that could come into this situation and outplay Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. I really don't think that there is.
I agree. They're all like projects. We've talked about this time and time again. So next year, it's different story completely. But this year, What's the point? But I want to get into draft. Symone kind of already started to ease into it, but like looking at the first round, number 15, number 18, what would you guys say should be the Eagles' priorities with those two first round picks, like position wise?
I'll agree with Symone, and I've probably stood on this 100% since the season ended. We need defensive players, 100%, and it's either got to be an edge rusher or it's got to be a linebacker. And I know Howie does not like spending money on linebackers, but at this point, we really don't have a choice because there's nobody else out there that we can get at a decent price and actually be here for 5 or 6 years at minimum. So I think that one of those two positions at 15, one of those two positions at 18, and really start to solidify that defense and get this thing going.
No, I agree 1,000%. I keep hearing when I'm doing my mock drafts, oh, Howie's not going to draft a linebacker. People have to change at some point. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been so destitute at the linebacker position for so long. Like, it's time for things to change, especially in this kind of draft. Linebacker, definitely a big need. Edge rusher still a big need for me, but not necessarily in the first round anymore, just because we got Hassan Reddick. Safety, Rodney McLeod left.
Yeah.
So we don't have a starting safety. We got Marcus Epps, and that's it. Like, Steven Nelson is gone. We don't have a quarterback too. So we don't have, there's two starting positions that we just don't have anyone filling right now. Like, there's no way you can go in this draft and go get a wide receiver in the first round when we don't have anybody besides Darius Slay in the secondary. Like,
and I think like Howie Roseman surprised people last season with Devontae Smith. Like, I think he did what he had to do. Like, everybody was very happy with that. So to me, doesn't that feel good? You know, like, read the room. Like, if you know everyone is demanding this, I know you're listening to these podcasts. I know y'all listen to us. So it's like, you know what everybody is saying. Don't be stupid. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. Stick with what is best for, you know, based off of last season. You guys know what didn't work. So fix it. Like, this is the time. But do we have the confidence in Howie Roseman to not screw it up? I guess is where we all kind of stand.
One thing that I heard, I think it was on the radio maybe a week ago. They were talking about the GMs in the league, and they said that the way Howie Roseman thinks is more so in the future. Mm-hmm. He thinks 2 or 3 years down the line when he does these drafts. A lot of these other GMs only think about right now because they don't know if they're going to be here in a year or two. Mm-hmm. So they want to make an impact now. So some of Howie Roseman's picks from the past actually make sense, you know, because it's like, okay, we got this position, you know, this person only has, you know, maybe a year or two left. You know, we're drafting for his replacement now compared to in 2 years. So confidence, he's a grenade. You really don't know unless you pull the pin. So it's like, I hope that he makes the right decision at 15 and 18, but then it's like, you really have no idea because you don't know if he's going to draft for right now and really get Jalen Hurts the help that he needs on both sides of the ball, or if he's going to play that, well, in 2 years, you know, so-and-so is not going to be here, so let's draft this position, and it just not makes sense right now.
Yeah, I agree because, well, my only concern about this draft, I feel like last draft, just like fan consensus wise, we all knew we wanted a wide receiver and some people wanted a quarterback. It was like Jamar Chase versus Jalen Waddle, or would Devonta Smith fit better, or would Jalen Waddle fit better? Boom, boom. And then there was that crop that wanted a quarterback. You know what I mean? So this draft, though, we all over the place as a fan base. Like, there's people saying wide receiver in the first round, which I don't agree with. Like, I can see why somebody might want one, but I don't agree with it. There's so many, like, there's just so many different avenues. Like, some people saying, oh, we don't need a linebacker. There's like,
what games were they watching the last 3 years? Like, what?
In the first round. Yes, like, there's so much division, I feel like now. So I just don't know what the heck is going to happen April 28th. Like, I really don't know. There's so many routes we could go. And like you said, drafted for the future. He could turn around and go get that Linderbaum with the first round pick.
Listen, that is my absolute nightmare. Okay, that is a nightmare of mine. If he drafts a lineman at 15, I am walking out of that stadium and I am never turning back. I will be no more good.
I just can't wait to see Twitter. Like, it's either going to go really well or it's going to go really bad. So I'm going to be waiting, just patiently waiting to see how it plays out.
Like I love Landon Dickerson. Love him. And I can understand but y'all, when it was the second round, we got Landon Dickerson. I was like, huh? Like,
well, so the Landon Dickerson, it kind of made sense, and we lucked out on him because of the injury history with Brandon Brooks and all of that stuff. You know, we lucked out with him, and thank God that we did, because the season would have been much worse last year had we not drafted him.
That's what has me worried, because nobody, Howie Roseman, draft a lineman. That's why I feel like we all here talk about linebacker, safety, corner, wide receiver. Will he draft a quarterback? It's going to be a line. He always drafts a lineman. Like,
oh God,
we don't need it. I can't take that. I want to shift.
Bad.
Before we even wrap this thing up, because I think, like, everybody's, like you said, Symone, everybody's on a different wave. So all we can really do is be patient and see how this plays out. But taking a look at, like, the division going into this season, I wanted to get you guys' takes on, like, quarterback rankings. Like, who do you think, like, where do you think Jalen Hurts falls among the other quarterbacks in the NFC East? And do you think that the Eagles are going to get to the playoffs again?
We're going to make the playoffs. One thing about
I'm sorry.
I feel like we're going to make the playoffs. We made the playoffs last year. We thought we was going to be 4-15 or whatever, how many games it is.
Yeah.
So we're going to make the playoffs. And I think Jalen Hurts ranks number 2. Number 2, barely number 2, because Dak is starting to slip a little bit. I feel like Dak is definitely better than Jalen Hurts where he is right now. But Jalen Hurts definitely is on the trajectory to be Dak or be better than Dak. I ain't never putting Carson Wentz over my QB1. So 3. And then, what's his name again?
Daniel Jones. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So yeah, I agree with Symone. I think we're going to make the playoffs, and I think, again, it comes back to continuity, and I think this team, you know, is going to get it together. We're going to see a big jump in this second year with Sirianni, and I agree. I will put Jalen Hurts at I would say number 1.8, because, like you said, Dak is slipping and his team is falling apart. We don't know what the hell. Sorry, we don't know what Dallas is going to do. Dallas is probably going to draft a lineman because they need one desperately, but Carson Wentz going to the Commanders, I would say that might be tied with Daniel Jones at 4. Like, we're just missing number 3 right now. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm not worried about the Commanders. Like, that's the least of my worries. Like,
but they do get Chase Young back after this after that injury. That's the only
Terry.
That's the only thing that really concerns me.
That's the only 2 players that I know that are, like, threatening. But yeah, I mean, before we wrap things up, first and foremost, thank you guys for both taking the time to chat with me. I know you're busy in this draft season craziness, but do either of you have anything you want to, like, plug? Anything that, you know, where can the listeners find you guys? But yeah, anything y'all want to plug before we wrap up?
Just YouTube, really, Instagram, Twitter, you know, all that. So YouTube, Symone with the Sports. Instagram, Symone with the Sports. Twitter, Symone_Stanley. I feel like that TikTok where they like top Shein.
Wait.
Oh gosh.
Bree, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at yourhost_breezy. You can find the show on Instagram, Sports and Stilettos Podcast. And Yeah, I mean, let's hit the ground running. I'm ready. I'm ready for next Thursday to get here now.
You and me both. But thank you guys again. Thank you, lovely, loyal listeners, for tuning in. That's going to be a wrap on episode 49 of Above the Nest with Raichele. Don't forget to rate, leave a review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys all know the drill. But yes, thank you guys. And that is going to be a wrap.